This hill is actually really, 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 really long to the top. I was coming down this mountain hill into what is called the Bibbin Swamp. Around in here, it has a little more angle than this right here. But as you can see, it is pure lowlands. And up in here is all the swamp area, both sides. This actually floods once in a blue moon. But as I was coming down this hill, somewhere in here, probably not any further than that, but somewhere within here, late at night, and smoke on the water, all this was just pure fog everywhere. And all I seen from, I don't know, probably visibility was about 3, maybe 4 dots if you were lucky. So as I was coming down the hill, I seen this big white thing. It's late at night, dark. All I see is this big white thing. I'm like, what is that? It took one flap of its wings, and on its second flap, it ended up in the grill of my car, my Cutlass. And I don't know. Well, yeah, that ain't gonna work. Anyway, you go down this road. There's a long right-hander, then another long straightaway with a little bend in it, and then there's a big valley with railroad trestle and some other stuff. But there's a big valley, and as you come up over that valley, there's a little town, and you gotta slow down, 40 miles an hour to go through town. So I'm cruising along 55, 60, whatever it was, and when I let off the gas over there by that town, the bird fell out from the grill of my car. Come to find out, it was a snow owl. Thing was freaking massive, but it stayed on my car all the way down there. I'm guessing it's about 5, 6 miles, roughly. I mean, this straightaway from the edge of that corner to the top of that hill is about 3 miles. And this long straightaway is just over 1.5 miles, roughly. And then after that little bend with the doopy and then up into the towns, maybe 1 mile, roughly. So yeah, from here to that town's probably 6, 7 miles, something like that. But this is somewhere along in here is where I had hit the owl late at night. And it followed all the way over to the town. So yeah, that was quite interesting.
Welcome back to the channel, folks. Today we have a fun one, yeah? Yeah, you could probably tell from the beginning part of the video with talking about the car that hid an owl. Yeah, I've always wanted to put the owl on the hood of one of these because this was the car I was driving when it happened, and yeah. I had this car a long time ago. This is actually my second kit of the Cutlass. The first one I had to build just like my mom's car because that's what we had, and I enjoyed it a lot, and I did that. And this is one that I owned and drove, and I think I've had 6 or 7 Cutlasses along with a couple of 2 doors or 4 doors, I should say. But this was mine. White, blue interior, blue roof, and yeah, it was a blast. Hang on a second. Alright, so I'm going to talk about some details on this car because I think there's a lot more detail than you can see. At least there might be. So one thing you probably can't see at the moment is the chrome trim on the bottom. As you can see over here, we got chrome trim on the very bottom here. Chrome trim on the bottom there and on the front as well. Clearly, you probably should be able to see the white leather tires. We got the white inserts in the rim. We got the little Oldsmobile symbols on the rim. Okay, kind of. I mean, they're there. We got the wing on the back. We got the custom vinyl quarter top, landau roof, whatever you want to call it. Chrome door handles and knobs. Side mirrors. Check that out. We got side mirrors. Nice. Interesting. We got the panel lined door openings. And I believe that's it for the majority of what's on the side. There would be an Oldsmobile badge. I believe it would probably be on the door. Some they were on the fender, depending on which year. Rather it was a Cutlass Salon, Cutlass Supreme Brougham, blah blah blah, whatever. Olds 442, Hearst Olds, or whatever. None of that matters on this, because technically this isn't a Hearst Olds. It's an Oldsmobile. But it does, in there, if you can see that little chrome bit there, that is the thunder stick. So yeah, it is a Hearst kit, whatever. I ain't so concerned. So let's talk about the nose. Up here, we do have the black fairing on the bottom. We have the orange turn signals. We got the little black bumperettes. We got the blacked out grille with the chrome over top. Dual headlights and the Olds badge. And then we also have our little bird. Bird is the word. Yeah. So on this side, not a whole lot more. I mean, you know, it does have dual exhaust both sides, which is kind of cool. And we got the little marker lights. One of the other little things I suppose I should mention, it's probably hard to see, but there's a chrome strip that wraps around the little rubber strip. Yeah, the camera's just, or light's just gonna wash that out, ain't it? But anyway, it's there. And it looks like shit, but right here it actually, it's a silver mark. It's supposed to say Oldsmobile, but it's a silver mark. And if you know these cars, or even if you look them up to find out, there's a little stripe right here that starts at the very bottom of the light and goes across, because this part is fiberglass and this part is actually a urethane, you know, like the high enduro bumper type. It's plastic. It cracks. I don't think it rusts, but whatever. So let's talk about some things you cannot see on here. Well, we got two-tone blue interior, because there's velour and then there's pleather and plastics, and yeah, there's color in there. So one thing you probably can't see yet, right here, is actually even down underneath in the chrome trim. The paint gave me shit, and you can't see it here either, but down here in the corner of the door it also gave me grief, and a little bit down in the bottom here as well. I did sand that before I put the chrome trim on, simply because I knew I was going to put the chrome trim on it. The trunk, yeah, you'll get a bad picture of that a little bit later. Or you can probably see it now when we do it this way. Let's get a little bit of an angle in there. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that or not, but this whole side of the trunk and both of these panels here all did the orange peel nonsense. Really upsetting, but is what it is. You can kind of see a little bit different. I did sand this down some. Wet sanded and wet it and sand it and wet sand and wet sand. It didn't bother down here so much. I got some of it down, and then I hit it with some future floor polish to cover that back up, just to level and glossier again, which, yeah, for what it is, it is. And here's, you know, the little Oldsmobile badge that you flip out of the way. It has the keyhole in it. And because this car isn't registered anymore, I went with the flip down gas door instead of a license plate. So we got the double hinges and we got the little relief molding on it. You would attach your license plate to that and flip it down, and the gas tank fill nozzle would be underneath there. Never seen that on the model, so I figured, you know, yeah, that's what we're gonna do that. Yep. So we did, and there it is. So yeah, you think that's it, yeah? You know you haven't seen under the hood yet, so we got some more stuff to talk about. But yeah, there's more. Yeah, there's more. Underneath is pretty simple. It's just black, a lot of black. I did get a brake lines, wires, stuff thereof going that way. All right, yeah, let's have some fun. Oh, I do have the VIN number in here. There is a little silver tag on the dash for the VIN number because, yeah, you know, got to have it registered, right? And then under the hood, which is pretty nice, I also have another owl because I had the extra decals, so I did it. Spaghetti! Holy spaghetti! Luigi and Mario be proud, yeah? I got some still pictures, but I want to just kind of talk about some of the extra details in here. We'll get this off of there. It's a good thing I don't have to reach in there and disconnect the vacuum lines. Which, it does have the heat thermac thingies, both of them. They were kind of rubbed off a little bit, so I drew the black marks over top, which is actually a cover that gets spot welded on. These are basically little gates that open with the vacuum, and this one goes all the way back around to this side, which I believe goes into like a little filter. And then this one actually goes down and V's off of that one. T, V, whatever. It separates. Yeah. So under the hood we have a lot to talk about. Let me rearrange the camera here. Alright, I think that will work for right now, I guess. As long as I don't bump everything. Alright. So to start with, well, anyway, I have, probably a bad idea to do this, but I have this bag of all these little tiny spools of thread. I think there's like 22 or 24 of them in there, all different colors. So I took a 12-inch strand of each of them, and when I was done, I melted the one end together, so of all 24 wires, 22, whatever it is, and then I folded it in half and did the same thing on the other end. And then I cut it, so I have two strands of, you know, just over 6 inches. And that would be mounted underneath the brake booster and windshield wiper motor, because this is where the fuse box would be on the real car. And from there, you sort your wires out. You know, you got some that come this way, some that go that way. They all go this way. So some of them go over the booster, some of them go under, depending on where they're going. But anyway, we have this long one here, goes to the hood release from the windshield wiper motor to the windshield washer fluid reservoir. We have a cruise control, which goes back this way. And we have the wire for it, which is to turn it on and off. And we have another power wire that runs up into the fuse box for... Shut up. It's a bigger stereo, okay? I'm sure you had one with big thumpers in the back, so don't go yelling at me. The brake booster, we do have both curly Q brake lines in there. And we also have down in here the booster that goes back to the bottom back of the carburetor. What else we got over here? These blue braces, yes, I put them in blue on purpose. They're just a support brace. When I had taken mine off, I painted them blue because I could. We have positive and negative battery cables. We have the battery here. My nose. Let's see. This little stringamabob here is actually goes to right here at the very top front of the motor for the water temperature sending unit, so we know how warm it gets in the car. This goes from the valve cover to the bigger port on the front of the carburetor. We have vacuum advance to the distributor. You probably can't see it from here, but down in there is another little hose that comes up and goes down to the transmission to a little vacuum gaugey. And if this line is not connected or has a vacuum leak, your car won't shift. It won't shift for shit. Ugh, my nose. Clearly we got some spark plug wires. I think that's pretty obvious, right? Right, good. I'm pretty sure yours do as well. Okay. I also managed to get the HEI distributor on the top, the top cap part, which is good because sometimes I can't. And I think I got it clocked about right. I'm guessing this is #1 cylinder. I mean, it could be that one, but that's more straightforward. But anyway. And we do have a fuel line in here. We do have upper radiator hose. It's hard to see it, but I got rid of the floatinator and put a bracket on here for the alternator. It has a power wire that runs into the loom that ends up over there. We have both heater hoses. We have an oil fill tube. We have the air compressor unit. I think there's a wire down on there that goes to this. And this little bare metal foil with pink and yellow on it for the decal, which is also right here on the front. It would tell you what your motor size is and a bunch of information and a wiring diagram, vacuum diagram, belt diagram, which it depends on which car you got. And yummy. Over here it's kind of a little bit of a mess, but there's 4 or 5 wires that run over to here. Sometimes they're on this side, but usually it's this side. They control the heater functions and some other stuff. And then this is your wire for the heater motor. And it's hard to tell, but this little black hose right here should actually be a different... It should be rubber, whereas this is metal. And this is plastic. And then we got our AC unit. This little blue guy right here, it's hard to see, but he is the refill section, and then the hose that goes down and blah blah blah. But somewhere, I believe it's on this side, one of these two sides should have a little black Schrader valve, you know, like you to air up your tires kind of thing. That should be there. And then here we have a little electrical box with a few wires running to it. We have the overflow, which goes to the radiator. Down in there, which, yeah, you can kind of see that. There's 2 lines to our charcoal canister. And it's hard to see, but white on white. But right down in there, there's actually a couple of wires down there that run to the side marker lights. And then there's a few more wires that come through right up alongside the frame for the headlights, for the external temperature, and there was something else up front. The horn. Yep. There got to be a beep beep. There got to be a horn up there somewhere. So those wires are run up and then they pigtail off and go back to this way. They could go this way too, depends on how your car was wired or rewired. Anyway. So yeah, we got the radiator hose. I think we already mentioned that. There's a lot of stuff. Oh, and we have the oil fill tube. Or not the fill tube, but the dipstick down in here. It's pretty hard to see just that by itself compared to the little curly cues, but it's right there. And there should be right here a transmission level tube, a check stick. But anyway, that's enough, right? It should be anyway. I mean, god damn, you want more than that? There you can see the VIN number tag. So we got VIN number and everything from the front to the back with everything else involved, and I'm sure I missed something or a few things or more, but if you think just adding spark plug wires, battery wires, and a radiator hose is enough, yeah, there might be a few more things you can do. I ain't saying you have to, I'm just saying I did because I do it. Hard to see the dash. It's got the long 85 mile an hour before the needle gets buried kind of dash in there. Didn't do the best job on my door lines, but they ain't the worst. And underneath is really nothing special. At least not too damn special. I don't know if you can tell or not, but the difference between the silver gas tank and the nickel exhaust with chrome tips really makes a difference in how it stands out. Okay, let's adjust this. Okay. Let's adjust that a little bit, get rid of that little bit of glare. So anyway, this is my Hot Rod Honey, the Cutlass. I don't remember if I ever gave her a name or not, but she was a hoot, I can tell you that. She was a hoot. We had a lot of fun in this one. My brother at the time also had I believe it was an 86 Monte Carlo SS. I know they had 87, but he had an 86, I believe. But he had gotten some new back tires and some different front tires as well. And he gave me the back tires, well, the better of the two, and I had put them on the back of the Cutlass. And I was going to put them on the front as well, but the rims were just a little too deep of an offset, and it grinded the steering knuckle, you know, the little tie rod in. So I can't do that with them rims, so I went back to my other stock ones, which honestly I like these 5-spoke a lot better than the Monte Carlo ones, but his tires were better than mine were at the time. Tiger Paw Uniroyal white wall, come on now. Compared to a Goodyear Eagle, yeah, you know what I mean. So anyway, I'm going to put up some pictures here, and you guys can drool over whatever you want to drool over. point and laugh at some of my mistakes throughout, because this thing actually could have stayed in the damn box for all I gave a shit for a long time, because the body pissed me off when I painted it the first time. She has issues on the top of the roof. She's had issues in this corner. She had some serious issues in this corner, which is laughably why I put the wings back here, which were one thing. But this whole corner back here actually had some serious issues. So that was the point behind that. But now to have the trunk, the entire damn trunk, be an issue, a little bit up here and then quite a bit on the bottom. And I think what it was is I sprayed this side, then this side, and then came over the top. And I think from here to the top, this got too much on it at one time. I was doing reasonably small coats or whatever, but coming from here to here, then to here, this corner didn't get so bad because it had just a second or two to dry right there. Same with the roof a little bit, but from this side to here, yeah, that was like a smooth motion all the way across. And yeah, that was my fault. Too much, too hot, and there it went. Bye-bye. So anyway, I got to the point where I'm like, do I throw it back in the box or do I finish it? And I just said, let's do it, because I had the decals on it, and I didn't want to waste the decals. Seems they were already on the body. And I figured, yeah, if I ever felt like it, I could cut the trunk out and hinge it, and that would give me the opportunity to refix this trunk part. The rest of it isn't bad. I mean, there's some blemish that would like to be getting rid of, but honestly, I don't display my cars this way. All my cars are displayed this way. And there ain't no issues on this side. Well, you can see it on the nose up here, but whatever. For what it is, I'm happy with it. So I'm going to rock it. All four tires do roll, which is nice. It's a good kit. I have another brand new one. I'll build another someday. I probably won't do the black and silver Hearst Olds edition, because there's so many other cutlasses I've owned that have different colors than that. So wiring them, I spent so many years underneath the hoods of a GMG body, cleaning it up, getting rid of the smog pump and all that stupid shit and everything else. I've had a 327, I've had a 3.8 V6, I've had the 307, I had the 265, I believe it was. I believe it was a 265 in one. There was a few different fun combinations I've had over the years. I personally prefer the 4-door. You don't have to move your seat forward to let somebody in and out. They can get in and out on their own. I don't have to move. I like it. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap this one up and do some editing, and I'm probably gonna go glue my fingers together and cut some styrene, like Lucas said. I suggest you do the same. And if you ain't happy and enjoying it, set it aside. Find another one, get you happy and excited, and do it again. So anyway, laters.